and welcome to another episode of Sleep and Relax ASMR. Back by popular demand, we're going to be doing another random facts or useless facts episode. This time I thought we'd do random spring facts. I thought it was appropriate for the time. You guys seem to really enjoy these, so I figured I would, give you guys what you want. So this should be episode 98, random spring facts. Let's get into it. Now I'm trying to find out or see which one I should start off with. They're all relatively useless. Of course, let me also mention, don't know how true these are. I'm going to list the sources from these facts on the show notes, but I mean, don't send me an angry email saying I got something wrong, because I'm not checking for accuracy. I'm just here to provide useless facts or speculation. So, first random spring fact. The first day of spring is called the vernal equinox. The term vernal is Latin for spring, and equinox is Latin for equal night. Randomly useless. Number 2. According to a Facebook study, couples are most likely to break up in the spring and 2 weeks before Christmas. The lowest breakup time was Christmas Day, and from August through October. Number 3. The fall and spring equinoxes are the only 2 times during the year when the sun rises east and sets due west. Sorry, I have them on a physical paper here, so I have to look up and down. Number 4. On the first day of spring, a person at the North Pole would see the sun skimming across the horizon, beginning 6 months of uninterrupted daylight. A person at the South Pole would see the sun skimming across the horizon, signaling the start of 6 months of darkness. Pretty sure there's a movie. I think it's 90 Days of Night. Something like that. Based in Alaska. So it's not 6 months of darkness, but it's a full 3 months. Useless. Number 5. I think it's number 5. I've already gotten lost, but I think it's 5. Spring almost always arrives on March 20th or 21st, but sometimes on the 19th. The reason the equinoxes and solstices don't always come on the same day is that Earth doesn't circle the sun in exactly 365 days. A random side note in the episode. Some of you prefer when I'm really whispering like this down here, and some of you prefer when I'm sort of gently speaking as opposed to whispering. Just let me know what you guys prefer. I've been trying to just do a mixture of the two. Doing it like this is a little bit easier for me, but just let me know. Send an email to hello@sleepandrelaxasmr.com. Just letting me know what your thoughts are. Just trying to make you guys happy. But I digress. Next spring fact. The first day of spring in the southern hemisphere is the first day of fall in the northern hemisphere. Get some tea. Let's see what else I have on here. holidays that occur in spring include Easter, Passover, April Fool's Day, Earth Day, Arbor Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Cinco de Mayo, and Holi, which is a festival of colors in India. Next fact. I've already lost track of where I am. Let's see. In the Colorado Rocky Mountain region, spring begins on average about 3 weeks earlier than it did in the 1970s. If Earth rotated on an axis perpendicular to the plane of its orbit around the Sun, rather than on a 23.4 degree tilt, there would be no variation in day lengths and no variation in seasons. Let's see. Let me see if I have another list I can access here. Next fact. Easter always falls on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. The first spring flowers are typically lilacs, irises, lilies, tulips, daffodils, and dandelions. There is a growing movement to call the vernal spring equinox the March equinox or northward equinox to avoid northern hemisphere bias. I'm wondering where that movement is growing. Seems like a lesser important thing to be focused on, but that's my opinion. If one of you listening now is part of this movement against the northern hemisphere bias, I'd love to hear why and what your solution is, if any, other than just calling it the March equinox. While the spring equinox typically occurs on March 20th or 21st, meteorological spring begins on March 1st, a month when average temperatures increase by 10 degrees over the month. The myth that it is possible to balance an egg on its end on the spring equinox is just that, a myth. It says here afterwards, in that same fact, trying to balance an oval-shaped object on its end is no easier on the spring equinox than on any other day. I didn't know that was a myth. Maybe I'll do another urban legends, or I'll do like a myths episode, just trying to figure out these interesting myths and whether or not they're true or false. That'd be a kind of interesting episode to do for the future as a plane is going overhead. Let's see what other facts I can pull up here. Let's see. The onset of menopause is significantly higher in winter than in spring or autumn, with a smaller peak in summer. In China, the coming of spring coincides with celebrations for the Chinese New Year. The holiday falls on the first day of the first lunar month in January or February. According to tradition, if a groundhog does not see his shadow after emerging from his burrow on Groundhog Day, which is February 2nd, spring will come early. If he sees his shadow, winter will last for 6 more weeks. The day has its roots in the Neolithic Celtic festival of Imbolc, which marks a seasonal turning point and also involved animal prognostication. Fact, I must be by like 15 or 20 at this point. I always tell myself I'm going to try to remember which number I am, just to kind of like keep a mental note or like a real note of how many I do in an episode. And I just always forget. Can't do it. For the Japanese, next fact. For the Japanese, the opening of the cherry blossom, Japan's national flower, in March or April signals the start of spring. The term spring fever refers to a psychological and physiological refers to both psychological and physiological symptoms associated with the arrival of spring, including restlessness, daydreaming, and increased sexual appetite. While the exact cause is unclear, scientists believe that increased light, more exercise, and more bare skin influence hormone levels. And more bare skin influences hormone levels. Sorry, poor reading by me. Let's see what else I can find on here. Next fact. In the southern hemisphere, springtime lasts from August until November. I might have already said that one. Sorry, my voice is terrible today. I apologize. I still have a few more to go. During the spring, birds are more vocal as they sing to attract mates and warn away rivals. The font was very small on that one, so that's why I was having a hard time reading that one in particular. The word season is from the Latin sationem, meaning sowing or seed time. While December is the most popular time to get engaged, late spring, which would be June, and fall, September, are the most popular months to get married. According to the National Association of Realtors, spring is the most popular season to sell or buy a house. Buyers are usually hesitant to move during the winter when the weather is colder and kids are in school. A spring tide has nothing to do with the season of spring. Rather, it connotes a springing forth. Spring tides happen twice each lunar month all year long, regardless of the season. Pull out a few more facts here. Tornadoes are most common in the spring and least common in the winter. Let's see. Every year, on the first day of spring, people in Poland gather to burn an effigy and throw it in the river to bid winter farewell. That's a great way to wave goodbye to winter. I've lived in cold weather for, not my entire life. I spent a brief time living in a cold weather place, but, it can be absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Let's see what else we have here. I'm going to take another sip of my tea. See what other facts. Now the dogs are barking again. Damn it. Honeybees are more likely to swarm during the spring. They swarm as a way to start new colonies from successful ones. Surprisingly, swarming honeybees are very docile and the most friendly they will ever be all year. That's funny. Let's see. The next few facts I got from another website. They're a little bit shorter, so maybe I'll just do them kind of like in quick fire or a little bit faster. So one, spring is one of the 4 temperate seasons. Number 2, it is the transition from winter to summer. The season is often associated with rebirth, renewal, and regrowth. The sun rises in the earlier hours of the morning and sets later in the afternoon. Spring flowers start to appear, birds start building their nest, and the farmers deliver newborn lambs. At the spring equinox, days are close to 12 hours long, with day length increasing as the season progresses. Trying to read the other ones. Flooding is common in and near mountainous areas because of melting snow during the springtime. Hurricane season begins in late spring. Tornado Alley is most active this time of year, as one would deduct from the previous fact, I suppose. And I think I'm actually down to my last fact for this episode. Drum roll, please. Iranian people observe the first day of spring as the beginning of the new year. And I think they call it Nowruz. My pronunciation is probably totally off. But either way, that'll be it for this rendition of Useless Facts. hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are wanting more useless facts, if you have an idea for an episode, you can get in touch with the show at I changed the email. It's a new email. It's now hello@SleepandRelaxASMR.com. And you can check out our website, SleepandRelaxASMR.com. We've got some cool stuff on there. And yeah, that's all for now. Thank you guys as always for tuning in, and take care.